Hey, here we are. It's Coach Manny, and I'm excited this morning. Although I'm not excited about the it looks a little blurry in here for some reason, but we'll see if we can get that straightened up. It's kind of a rainy day in New Jersey, so I'm excited to be here today because we're starting our new series on decision making. And those of you who have read some of the articles are probably excited. And one thing we're going to offer you, and we'll tell you a little bit more about it later in the show, is a chance to get on the team that's going to help put this book together. And it's just an exciting opportunity. So stay tuned. We'll share with you how you can be part of the team that's going to put together the new decision-making book. And of course, you get the book, right? So we're here every Friday for 30 minutes to share with you something that's going on. And today we're going to share decision making. So I hope everyone's pumped up and ready to go. See us any Friday here. We're here. And one thing that came out is we need leadership. We need the ability to make better, stronger, and just make decisions, because so many people out there just won't make a decision. So that's what we want to concentrate on today. So let's get started with today's agenda. We'll see how far we get today. And then whatever else we need to do, we'll make that happen in the next show, right? Because we're going to spend some time on decisions. And we may take a break in the middle there and do a hangout because we got a guest or something. But we're going to do a whole series on the book. So make a decision. Will you please? And, it's really about how to make a decision, because making a decision gets things moving. And the biggest problem today when it comes to decision making is people want to think things to death. And if you're someone like me, it drives me absolutely crazy. I cannot sit in the meeting, and I've never, since I was taught this by my mentor, been able to sit in a meeting while everybody's sitting around thinking about stuff and nobody's moving. I got to move us toward a direction. And, that's all about the goal thing and moving forward. Let me think about it. Why? Everything's here. We're not going to get any more information. Let's make a decision. Relax. We got time. Time is the only thing you don't have. Now, let's understand that. People say, we got time. Time is the only thing you don't have. The longer you delay making a decision, the more time you've wasted, because you're not getting anywhere. So you're standing here. You can make a decision. You can move forward tomorrow. Instead, you push that decision out a week, 2 weeks, a month, of 6 months, a year, and you're never getting that time back. So you don't have time. So I'm not relaxing. No one wants to commit to making the decision. Everyone seems to be afraid. What are you afraid of? Just pull the trigger. And I know some of you out there get this, and I know a bunch of you out there are probably saying, but Manny. So let me start with the story of my great mentor, Mr. Nate Connicky, who is now passed. Nate was probably the most influential person in my life, next to Jesus and a few personal friends. He taught me a very simple principle early in my career, and this principle really has guided me to achieve more success than I would have ever believed. And if I didn't have this, I couldn't even think about what I'd be able to do if I couldn't make decisions the way I do. But he did more than just teach me. And this is important for those of you out there who are teaching anything, and those parents out there who are wondering, what do I do? Well, you live it. And he lived it. He worked it. He made it part of his process. And realistically, he walked the walk. He wasn't telling me, Manny, you got to make decisions, while he sat there and said, let me think about it. No way, that wasn't happening. What was happening was He made the decisions day in and day out. And you know what? He took flack. I heard a lot of people talk about, I can't believe this. But you know what? He was a decision-making machine. Now, I want you to add that to your vocabulary. Decision-making machine, because that's where you have to be if you want to create that great success. I'm not talking about just making it. I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about, making it a great and fabulous success, because decision-making, and when you get this and when you do this on a consistent basis, you will be able to make decisions. Your career, your life, your family, everything is going to rock. You know why? Because it's what holds most people back. They can't make the decision. So we're going to talk about. So let me continue my story. It's early 80s. And I was a hotshot computer programmer. And you know, I used to be really good. You know, I don't want to compliment myself. I always tell the story about I used to be so good till I met my friend Rich, who was even better than me. And that's how come I'm in sales, and he was the technician, and we were a great team together. But I was a hotshot computer programmer. I was working for a consulting firm, and Nate was the owner. We had 6 offices. We had probably about 120, I don't remember, 120, 150 employees somewhere. So we were a good-sized company doing a great piece of revenue at that time. Today, probably in the $20 million range. And, you know, I was very good at what I did. And I loved what I did. And I had total freedom, because you know what? And those of you out there who maybe are hotshot technicians listening to this, trying to move forward, when you're good at what you do, man, you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You can walk wherever you want, because guess what? Your technical skills are a real asset. So I was living the dream, I guess you could say. I was loving it, and I was enjoying being left alone. Can you believe that? Me, the guy who's here every week talking to you, who doesn't want to do anything but speak to people anyway. I loved being left alone, and I didn't want to talk to nobody. I said, just leave me over in the corner. Let me build software. I'm loving this. Give me a terminal. Give me a project. Let me go for it. And I really enjoyed it. But Nate, and this is the miracle about people, when you see more in a person, you got to do something. And so Nate saw more in me. And one day, Nate was a man, like I said, who made decisions. He really didn't take no for an answer, okay? So Nate said to me, Manny, you have so much more talent. So guess what? As of next week, I'm going to make you a manager. And all I got here is a list. Here's 10 people. Here's 11 accounts. Now, what I want you to do is go make it happen. And if you have any questions, you know my door's always open. You've been in and out. You know you can come see me anytime you want. Just go for it. And that was it. I know some of you are saying, what? That was it. There wasn't no, do you want to do this? There wasn't no, I don't want to do this, because you have a lot of respect for people and they ask you to do something. You just do it because you know that's what you need to do. No question asked. Nate didn't ask if I wanted the job. He never even asked. I had way too much respect for him to say no, and he knew it. And so it was. And just like you, I mean, when you're out there, stop hesitating. You know, when it comes to making decisions, just make the decision, will you? You know, when you decide you wanted to use somebody, you meet somebody you want to bring into your organization, or you meet a key player, or you find a key player that you want to help you, stop thinking about it. Just go for it, make it happen, and then you will watch what happens moving forward. Make the decision. We hesitate way too much. Well, all right, so let's fast forward about 3 months. And I'm in this new position, and it was time for my first review with Nate. And you know, I've always been good at software development, and I figured, geez, I could be pretty good at management too, right? So I'm a manager. I'm taking this job. I'm taking it serious. I think, Manny, guess what? you're doing pretty darn good, right? I mean, we all been there. You're doing pretty darn good. And so I had my review with Nate, and I was feeling great. And we had this simple process. It was a process where you bring in a sheet, filled out report, and Nate your boss brings in one with the same questions on both of them, and then you exchange them. Well, we exchanged the forms, and you know what? My face must have went from this like to what? And Nate saw it right away, of course. And his first comment says, Manny, it's really not that bad. You just need to learn how to make a decision. You see, you want me to make the decision. You want others to make the decisions. You just want to go without making it. And if you want to be a great leader, you got to learn how to make a decision. And that's the same thing I'm going to express to you, and I'm going to show you today, and I'm going to push out in this series, in this book. Man, if you hang in there, you're going to learn how to make decisions. And when you make decisions, you will be a star. And not just you, because there's more to the philosophy than that. Not just you, but you're going to learn how to pass that on to everyone you work with, and how to teach others to make decisions. If there's great leaders, create other great leaders. If there's one thing I've done with this gift that Nate gave me, is I've taught it to other people. And when you work with people, you learn how to let them make mistakes. Let them go out there. Let them make decisions. Because the thing with Nate, he never gave me a hard time about the wrong decision. Remember in the story, he gave me a hard time because I failed to make decisions. And so he said to me, you need to learn how to make a decision. You want me to make the decision for you? You want others to make the decision? You want to go without making it? If you want to be a great leader, you've got to take the shot. You see, and the principle, like I said, which I'm going to repeat here for you, is make a decision. If you make the wrong decision, and this is what frightens so many people, and you're going to see over the next few weeks when we talk further. If you make the wrong decision, guess what? All you got to do is make another one to correct it. It is that simple. And people say you can't always make another decision. You can always make another decision to fix it. And if that doesn't work, you just make another decision. The fact you're making the decision is creating action and will make it happen for you. And that's the thing that most people fear. They made one decision. They got into trouble. We talk about these people. You know how people just made one decision in their life? It was the wrong decision. And ever since then, they've stuck where they're at and they're not moving. Is that someone you can relate to? Do you know people who are in that realm? They made one decision. It was wrong. They made a mistake. And instead of just correcting it at that point and moving forward, they never made another decision. You can see them in corporate America today. Millions of middle managers are never going to get to top management because simply they cannot and will not make a decision. Wow. So that was it. You see, he let me fall many times. Flat on my face. I made a lot of mistakes, let me tell you what. But I learned because he never punished me or gave me a hard time for being wrong. But if I didn't make a decision, bam, came down like a hammer. And after Nate, of course, I got to work with his partner at that point, a man named Russ Hendershot. And Russ was under the same kind of mold. That's why these two guys, I'll tell you a story in a minute, didn't get along. But the same principle. He pushed me because, I got an opportunity to run a branch operation and relocate. And it was a great opportunity, big bucks, all that thing at that point. And I said, no. And he then came back and pushed and pushed and pushed because he made a decision he was going to get me there. And he got me there. Okay, I made the decision finally to do it. And as the story goes, a couple years later, we had bought out part of the company. We started another company. We made some decisions. Everything didn't work out in that process either. So that's how I ended up spending some time at Boeing. But the story there is very simple. Make a decision, will you please? How many of you are hesitating? Huh? How many of you are hesitating when it comes to making decisions? I learned well. And today you hear it much more. But sometimes I think Nate, he may actually have been the author of this line and never got the credit. I don't know who gets the credit. I don't take the credit, but I love the line. And the line is simply this: it's far easier to ask forgiveness than permission. And I just take a moment and just think about those few words. There are very few words. I think, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 words. It is far easier to ask forgiveness than to ask permission. And what does that mean? It means people will forgive you if you make the wrong decision. But trying to get them to let you make a decision, sometimes and especially those of you in corporate America, and you go through so much bureaucracy standing in your way of making decisions that it drives most people crazy. And most people say, well, what do I do now? And how do I get to the next step? I can tell you, like I said, down the road from this encounter with Nate and this great learning experience, I ended up taking a position with Boeing, which is a huge corporation, right? And I love Boeing. And actually, my friend is still there today. He's one of the big shots over there, and I like to talk to him once in a while. But he stayed, I left. But the point was, when I was there, I was a hot shot. I got on the fast track, executive training, all that. Why? You know why? Because I had learned how to make a decision. And 98% of the people in that organization at that point where I was working couldn't do it, wouldn't do it, hesitated, did all those things that maybe those same things that you're doing out there today. And I started training some of them, and they started watching me. And the reason I progressed was because I wouldn't sit in a meeting. And I know some of you out there may be sitting in meetings where people are just going around in circles. And maybe the person who needs to make the decision hasn't come in, or people just sitting there thinking about things. When I walked into a meeting, and I used to do this at Boeing, and it was so funny, and the person who called the meeting wasn't there. Well, we have an agenda. Let's go. And we started the meeting. And you know what? When they came in, did they give me a hard time? Did they say, what are you doing? They said, thank you. I'm glad somebody had the ability to get things moving in here instead of wasting 15 minutes while I got caught up somewhere, and you got things started and you did a heck of a job. Now, not always. Not always. Don't get me wrong. I remember being in situations where someone came in and said, what the heck are you doing? You can't have this meeting without me. I said, well, wasn't going to sit around here and waste all this time. Can you forgive me? Yeah, but let's back up. And see what I mean? If I had to try to chase that person down, and you guys in corporate America know exactly what I'm talking about. If I had to try to chase them down and say, can I start the meeting? Maybe I wouldn't even got a hold of him. And he said, no, just wait. Or maybe it just wouldn't have happened. I would have never got the permission. But the point is, move forward. You're running into some situations, and think about it. What's the worst that could happen if I made the wrong decision here? Are they going to forgive me? If you're running on that tight of a line in your job, I want to tell you something. You need to think. You need to think, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Because you're probably really good at what you do. And if you're walking on a tightrope, it's not the right position for you. Look for a better position out there, because you have to have some flexibility to make decisions and to make some moves. If you can't move then you're like stuck, right? And I've been there. I remember one job I was stuck just like that. You know what I did? I moved because it just didn't work. So, and of course, I'm an entrepreneur today because I like that. If you want something to happen, if you want something to take place, you know what? You gotta make a decision. It's real simple. So the rest of the story is really history. Within less than 3 years after this encounter, I was running my own company. And I went on to much success in my career and life because after working with Nate, I never again had a problem making a decision. When everyone else sat around, I made the decision. And like I said, sometimes I got in trouble. Sometimes I was wrong. But one thing I never had a problem with, I never hesitated. I never held back. I never waited when it came to making decisions. I made the decision and I moved forward. And realistically, I'm going to tell you, when I look back and I think about it, would I ever not have made a decision? No. I made the decision and we moved forward. And I want you to remember this because we're going to be working in this over the next few months as we put the book together. And this is just an intro. And I hope we got a little further than the intro, but I like to make sure I set the foundation, because the foundation of what we're going to teach you in this series and what we're going to teach you in this book, the foundation is so simple. The foundation is, are those simple words that I gave you. It's far easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Make a decision and move forward. If I can get you there, then you're going to be amazed at what you're going to be able to do. And that's just the way it is. That's where I hope to take you in the upcoming book and again in this upcoming series. And the one thing I want from you is I want feedback. So we talked about putting a team together. And so if you are interested in being part of the team, and when I say put a team together, we're going to put a team together who's going to get all the stuff on the books. You're going to get the early releases of the chapters. You're going to get the early releases of some video. You're going to get a chance to get together. Maybe we'll do some online sessions, whatever, live sessions. But the point is, what I'm looking for is, give me some feedback. I need people who are willing to come in and say, well, I got a story for you. Let's put the story in the book. We'll give you credit. Or I got a situation here where that didn't work. Let's analyze it and see what happens. Because the more real stuff we can put in here, the better this book is going to be. Now, I don't want to create the book that's too fast because too big. Because, I like to create a book that people can read in a couple hours and really move forward. And the decision-making book, if we got that much information, we're just going to create 2 books. Okay, that's just the way it is, because I don't want to be stuck trying to read through there. But what I want you to do is, if you want to be part of this feedback team, all I want you to do is, and we're going to send out more information, but right now, get it, become a chartered member of this group, right? If you're interested. Now, I'm going to tell you, we're not going to select everyone. I need you to do a couple things. Just send me an email. The subject of the email is, I want in. And then I want you to tell me why you think you'd be an effective person on this decision-making team. And, if your reason's good, we're going to put you on the team. If it's not, well, I still appreciate you trying. Because just make a decision today. Am I going to be part of this team or am I not? What am I going to do? Because decision-making is so critical. So I want you to buckle up, because we're going for a ride. And I'm telling you, we are going for a ride about decision-making. People have been after me for a long time, wherever I go, because I always share my Failure Creates Success book. And they say, Manny, you need to write a book on making decisions, because Failure Creates Success, those of you who have read it, those of you who have not, get out there and get a copy of it, will you? It's a good prerequisite for this. But failure creates success is just about decision making. And so people have been asking me for a long time, write a book on making decisions, Manny, will you? And so that's what this is. So get ready for the ride, because if you have any hesitation, if you're thinking about stuff, if you're not sure where you're going to go, if you don't make decisions the way you should, then this book will really be great for you. And so what I want you to do, I want you to get ready, because session 2 on this is we're going to look at 7 things that you need to talk about or that you need to think about related to making decisions. And if you haven't read the articles, get out on the blog if you're not part of the newsletter, and just take a look at it, because we're going to talk about 7 keys. Next session, we're just going to give you an overview of those 7 things, and then we'll spend some sessions where we'll actually go into some detail. Because you know what? The point there is there's so much that people hesitate, and there's so many reasons why people won't make those decisions. And I want to dump those out of your realm, and I want you to move forward. So the book's hot. We have a lot of things going here. As you know, we're going to rebrand this Friday seminar in the near future to call it the Entrepreneur Toolbox. And we've got much more with the Entrepreneur Toolbox coming up with that. We continue to do these Friday sessions. We have got a great new program for you. And one of the things that has happened is people have been asking me for a long time, Manny, you have a high-end coaching program. I can't afford to go there yet, but I still need stuff from you. Can't you develop something that's targeted to the smaller business owner or the person who can't invest all that money yet? And the answer is, we got it. I heard you. I made a decision, and we're coming up. That's the whole key behind the Entrepreneur Toolbox. Will be a monthly subscription, which is going to be, when you see it, you're going to be amazed. It's really low, and you're going to get so much stuff for this fee. Finally, if you're that entrepreneur who's been wanting to join the team, but you just can't afford it, this will be the answer for you. So that's what's coming up. You know, we're here Fridays to share with you. Any questions you have on decision making right now, I would really appreciate you getting them in. If there's something you're struggling with, if you've got a great story you want to share, you know, we're going to let you get that opportunity as part of the team. But, you know, you always can send it to me. And you know that I always, those of you who have sent me questions know if I don't get to the question on the air, you know, I'm going to personally write you an answer to that question. I've got some great new stuff for me. Today is the end of September, and my new fiscal year starts tomorrow, and we're going to rock this thing in 2017 with so much stuff to help you become that superstar that we know you're ready to be, right? So we're here every Friday. If you missed any of this, or if you miss any of our sessions, you know they're available for a while on YouTube. Just go to my channel, youtube.com/Manny Nowak, and you'll see it's all there. We keep them up there for a while. We try to make sure we give you this stuff. We're 3 quarters through the year. Decision making will help you move so much faster. Our plan is to get this thing done by the end of the year and release it the first of the year. So are you ready to make next year your biggest year ever? I am. I am determined. This is going to be the biggest year ever for me and for you. So hold on. Get ready. Start making those decisions. This week, I want you to start making some decisions, and let's rock. This is Coach Manny, and I close in the words of another great mentor and friend of mine, Burl Walk, who always says, let's get out there and create a better world. Thank you, and have a fabulous week.